God says this is for you, and it is urgent. Listen with a calm heart even while your pulse quickens. There is purpose behind the rushing wind you suddenly feel, and a gentle strength waiting to steady you. Elon Musk says, today Elon Musk left a secret message just for you. Open it before it vanishes forever. Open now. Those words are not a command to frighten you. They are a dramatic nudge from the universe, a cinematic moment built to cut through the noise and make you look up. Breathe. Read. Receive. You may be sitting where you always sit, or you may be pacing the room, or you may have wandered outside under a sky that looks ordinary, but this hour is not ordinary for you. Something subtle and kind is aligning. A door that has been stuck for a long time is loosening. A piece of your life that felt permanently misaligned will tilt, just enough, so the light can find it. God says the small things you ignored are about to become the carriers of great mercy. The story that felt static will begin to rewrite itself with a tenderness you did not expect. First, let me quiet whatever fear is crowding you. There is nothing cosmic waiting to punish you. There is everything waiting to bless you. This message is not about taking, it is about restoring. It is not about exposing you to shame, it is about exposing what was hidden so healing can come. You have been carrying burdens that you did not choose, and you have been shouldering doubts that were never yours to hold. Today, God says, you will be given permission to put some things down. You are safe. You are seen. God says, I know the names of the quiet prayers you whispered when no one was listening. I know the secret ways your heart has broken and mended and broken again. I have kept a record, not to judge, but to understand the precise shape of your wounds, because I intend to heal them in the places that ache the most. Trust will come like a gentle tide, not a hurricane. The cosmic timing that felt unkind will reveal itself as wise. Do not be afraid to let go of expectations. Expect instead that what comes will be truer than what you have insisted on. There will be signs. They may be small. A message unexpectedly received, a door opening that you had given up trying to open, a kind stranger who says the exact sentence you needed to hear. Pay attention to the ordinary miracles, a missed bus that saved you from an accident, a cup of tea with a friend that becomes the turning point for both of you, a voicemail you almost deleted that contains an answer. God is speaking in these small arrangements because your life, like a delicate instrument, is tuned by tiny, careful adjustments. Don't dismiss what seems too trivial. Every small miracle is a stitch in a new garment being made for you. You are being unburdened from a shame that never belonged to you. For too long you have worn the heavy coat of other people's expectations, and their definitions of who you must be. God says, remove that coat. Sit in the sunlight and feel your shoulders drop. There is a freedom waiting that does not require you to perform or to be someone you are not. The permission to be yourself is being delivered on a quiet, urgent current. Open your hands to receive it. There will also be difficult conversations coming, but they will not be the annihilation you feared. They will be honest, direct, and strangely kind. People who have been a source of confusion will suddenly be clearer, not because they change overnight, but because the fog over the situation lifts. The truth will not always feel soft when you hear it, but it will be liberating. Prepare yourself not to react out of old wounds. Pause. Breathe. Let the light clarify what must be clarified. God says, clarity is mercy. Even when it burns at first, the burn is cleansing and leads to new growth. Your creativity, that voice in you that may have been silenced or minimized, is about to awaken. Whatever form it takes, words, music, designs, inventions, small acts of kindness, allow it a little more space. God says, the world has been missing your voice. It is not a random, ego-driven message, it is a truth that your gifts were tucked away for a season so they could mature. The timing now is right. Begin again with something small, a sentence, a sketch, a melody hummed into your phone. The act of starting is more important than perfection. Trust the process, trust the tiny, stubborn flame that refuses to go out inside you. Money and provision are shifting, not always in ways you expect, but with a providence that cares about your dignity. If you have been worried about finances, God says relief will come in forms both expected and surprising: a job opportunity, a debt forgiven, a generous hand extended, or a new idea that blossoms into income. Do not dismiss creative avenues you previously thought were impractical. The universe favors courage, and God says courage that is grounded in humility will be rewarded. Manage what you receive with gratitude. Let generosity be your habit. When you give, even small things, you are practicing the flow that will keep blessing coming. Relationships are a central thread in this moment. Some people will step forward to support you, others will step away, and both movements are part of the same loving architecture. Do not mistake departure for abandonment. Sometimes the person who leaves clears the stage so the person who is meant to stay can stand in the light. If reconciliation is needed, approach it with humility but without self-erasure. Speak your truth calmly. If forgiveness is called for, let it be real and not performative. If boundaries are needed, hold them with compassion. God says the quality of your relationships now will be more important than their quantity. There is a healing of identity taking place. You will increasingly reject labels that do not belong to you. The stray words that made you feel small, not enough, unworthy, too much, not for people like us, are dissolving under a light that does not criticize but clarifies. Replace those words with the truth: you are chosen, you are capable, you are loved beyond measure. Repeat it until it becomes a practice, not a mantra. God says, speak truth to yourself like you would to a beloved friend. Gentle, steady, unwavering. This is also a time to watch your thoughts. The mind will attempt to replay old scenarios to distract you, to keep you small for the comfort of familiarity. When fear rises, as it will, because change stirs the old ghosts, remember that fear is a weather pattern, not a destination. Name it, feel it, and then redirect your attention to the evidence of good things unfolding. Celebrate small wins loudly and often. They are the proof that a new pattern is settling in. If you have been waiting for confirmation about a big decision, move, relationship, career, creative risk, God says, the confirmation will not be an explosion but a series of quiet alignments. Notice the repeated yes that come from different places. A person who unexpectedly agrees with your plan, a check that arrives on time, that inner sense of peace that persists even when logistics are messy. These are the signatures of divine approval. Do not wait for the whole map before you take the first step. Walk by the light you have now. There is also a call to rest. You have been hustling in ways that sounded noble but drained you. God says rest is not a luxury, it is a strategy. Rest replenishes intuition, restores creativity, and makes your heart a hospitable place for new things. Build rest into your day, brief pauses that are non-negotiable. Sleep enough. Eat with appreciation. Laugh when you can. The enemy of your progress has often been the myth that busyness equals worth. Reject that myth. Worth is not measured in tasks completed but in love given and received. Expect a reconnection with someone from your past who brings with them a lesson and a blessing. It may be a friend, a teacher, or a relative whose presence will illuminate something you missed the first time around. God says these reconnections are not about repeating old patterns, they are about receiving old lessons with new wisdom. Be open, but be wise. Allow the past to speak without letting it boss your present. If you are carrying grief, and many of us are, God says your grief is honored. Grief is not a problem to fix, it is a sacred process. You will find that your grief begins to move in small, merciful ways. Sometimes it will arrive as a memory that makes you smile through tears, other times it will feel like a heavy pause that teaches you depth and compassion. Let it be. Allow rituals that dignify your sorrow, lighting a candle, writing a letter, planting something. Grief that is recognized becomes a well of empathy that strengthens your capacity to love. Spiritually, a veil is lifting. You will sense protection and guidance more tangibly. Not because the world becomes easier, but because your sight adjusts. You will spot the loving hand in moments that previously looked like accidents. An unexpected mentor, a book opened at the exact page you needed, a dream that offers clarity, these are the breadcrumbs. Follow them. God says, do not confuse the smallness of your human understanding with the vastness of what is being arranged on your behalf. There may be tests. Not punishment, never punishment, but tests, little invitations to choose faith over fear. You will be asked to trust in small ways, to forgive a slight, to make a generous choice when it would be simpler to hoard, to speak a truth that risks discomfort. These tiny acts of courage build a character that is ready for the bigger blessings. God says, your future depends less on one dramatic decision and more on the accumulation of small, faithful choices made today. Take care of your body. There is a physical alignment that complements the spiritual work. Hydrate. Move gently. Let tension out of your neck and jaw. Your body is the temple through which you will receive many of the things God is preparing for you. Treat it with respect. The clearer your vessel, the clearer the channel for new blessings. You will sometimes confuse impatience for urgency, and urgency for importance. God clarifies, urgency without wisdom leads to mistakes. Pause long enough to hear whether something is a divine urgent, a moment that requires immediate prayerful action, or simply an anxiety wearing the mask of urgency. One clear test: when you pray calmly, do you feel a steady inner yes? If so, act. If not, wait without worrying. Waiting with trust is a powerful action in itself. Miracles are not always dramatic lightning bolts. Often they are the quiet rearrangement of circumstances that allow grace to do its work. Perhaps the landlord calls to say the repairs are taken care of. Perhaps someone clears a debt you thought impossible to erase. Perhaps a door that was slammed is now unlocked. Expect these small, steady miracles and give thanks when they appear, because gratitude magnifies them.